Coming up on an all-new edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Yeah, we're out the studio this week, but we're doing like the rest of the talk show hosts. We're doing ours at home, and I'm going to tell you the latest on what's going on as wrestling still suffering the effects of the coronavirus. It's uncertain times, but we're getting through it with WWE Raw Report, AEW Report, and Hot Topics. As we talk about the latest, as two superstars that once were in WWE have defected to AEW and make their debuts. You won't believe who is, but you kind of know who. As an all-new Pro Wrestling Show starts right now. To the Pro Wrestling Show, I'm your host as always, Kenny Dix here. Like I said, we're not normally in our studios. I'm at home at the moment. But thank you all for watching the Pro Wrestling Show this weekend here on Connect TV. Connect TV rolling as we always do with content for you, the wrestling audience. Like I said, we make wrestling for you, and that's what matters. Wrestling matters. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, subscribe. We want you to subscribe because that's what we do here at the Pro Wrestling Show. We create wrestling content for you, the pro wrestling audience. Alright. As I said, this is a different setting because I'm at home at the moment. But we want to provide you the Pro Wrestling Show like we do every weekend here on Connect. Alright. We know that the effects of the CV-19 disease is going on, the outbreak. And we want to share you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So, hey, just sit back and relax. And don't worry about the turbulent times, uncertain times at the moment. We're here to entertain you. All right, let's get to the Raw Ring Report. All right, Monday Night Raw was filmed at the WWE Performance Center. Now, Raw started off with a hitch as Jerry King Law, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton welcomed us to the show from the Performance Center. And they ran through the rundown, what's going to happen. But they started off with the Radar superstar and WWE Hall of Famer Edge. Edge cut an insightful promo that what he's going to do to Randy Orton after Edge had to watch Randy Orton viciously attack his wife Beth Phoenix after Beth Phoenix was trying to confront Randy Orton on what he did to Edge. That way Edge had to drive all the way from North Carolina to finally cut a promo on Randy Orton and say he's going to do what he need to do to Randy Orton. And he issued a challenge to his former tag team partner that he wanted to have a match with him one-on-one in a last man standing match. So Edge setting up the table that he wants a last man standing match. And he said he's going to take that grit he learned from Mick Foley and destroy Randy Orton in the last man standing match. So we're going to be next week. We're going to be waiting Randy Orton's answer to if he accept the challenge from Edge. And they'll have him make an official at WrestleMania where it's going to be him and Edge in a last man standing match if it happens. Also, throughout the entire show, they did a full recap of the Royal Rumble where Drew McIntyre won the event and how Drew's meteoric rise to get to where he is now, facing Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre will get his shot at Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And we'll tell you a little bit more information about what's going on with WrestleMania. They ran through the entire Royal Rumble program, men's match, where Brock Lesnar dominated until Drew McIntyre came out there. We know the story. Drew eliminated him with a Playboy Pit. Drew won the Rumble. Now Drew earns a shot at Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. And can Drew make that contention happen during the line? Also, in a contract signing, AJ Styles will meet The Undertaker, but they had to sign on the dotted line. Well, Undertaker came out there in his gimmick, but he came out there with his unusual gimmick, the American Badass gimmick. Undertaker shed through that he wants AJ Styles. Undertaker was waiting for AJ Styles. Undertaker even flipped the table He didn't want to wait too long. Undertaker saw AJ Styles on the Tron. AJ Styles and his boys, the OC, Anderson and Gallows, were up there. AJ cutting the promo on Undertaker, talking about how Undertaker is too old. He don't need being here. He lost to Brock Lesnar. Why he keep coming back? He talking about his wife, Michelle McCool. Next thing you know, AJ Styles sends his boys to do his bidding for him. He tells Anderson Gallows to go. The contract AJ signed to go take it to the Undertaker. Anderson Gallows be so full of themselves did so. They did so, and Anderson Gallows didn't want no trouble from the Undertaker. They really didn't. Well, the Undertaker didn't look at it like that. Undertaker took his anger and his frustration out on Anderson Gallows, beat them both up to a bloody pulp. Undertaker signed the contract, and Undertaker stuffed the contract in Anderson's mouth to send a message to AJ Styles. So AJ Styles and Undertaker will go one-on-one at WrestleMania. You know, it's going to be a good classic. These two competitors at WrestleMania. So, there you go. Also, Raw experienced one match of the night. They were stretching it. So they had Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. And at the end, Rey Mysterio won, but waiting for the U.S. title. So I don't know what they're going to do with that scenario and that situation going forward. So, also, the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, cut a promo on challenger Shayna Baszler that she looking forward to her match against Shayna at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch came out in a monster truck that was what she was going to use for WrestleMania. So since WrestleMania is going to be at the Performance Center, you know, hey, why not? So Becky Lynch saying that she's looking forward to Shayna. Shayna was watching intently backstage, and these two women will get their hands on each other at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. This is going to be intense. I'm telling you that right now. Also, Kevin Owens cut a promo on how fighting Seth Rollins in the Performance Centers will be symbiotic of providing people like the Monday Night Messiah deserve that he's wrong to be. So Owens issued a challenge against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania one-on-one. And we'll see. I think Seth Rollins did accept it. So we'll see how this all plays out. And finally, Stone Cold Steve Austin celebrated Monday Night Raw on 3/16 day, on that day that he became an ultimate superstar. Stone Cold was telling some jokes about 3/16 day. Then Raw commentator Brian Saxton kept giving him points on his scorecard, via scorecard. I don't know what was there. I kind of knew Brian Saxton was going to get stunned. I just knew he should have knew he was going to get stunned. Why he kept messing with Stone Cold. Austin brought Saxton into the ring and gave him a ring toast and then stunned him. And then Becky Lynch came out there and celebrated. And she celebrated Stone Cold and it ended. But after that, the Street Profits came out there and tried to celebrate with Stone Cold. And both of them got stunned for their troubles. Then Becky Lynch gave a stun to Byron Saxton. So, you know how that go. Just to entertain the folks, entertain the crowd. So Stone Cold, Becky Lynch, Stone Cold passing the torch to Becky Lynch as that bitch-swilling, unapologetic, type of individual who don't give a, rats, what. So you know how that go. All right. That is the Raw Ring Report. Let's move over to the SmackDown Ring Report. On the SmackDown Ring Report this week, man, SmackDown kicked off with a bang as Michael Cole introduced Mojo Rawley to the show. And Mojo introduced his best friend, his buddy, former New England Patriots, former Fox contributor, and now the host of WrestleMania 36, Rob Gronkowski, to wrestle to WWE, and how Rob Gronkowski was going to make a face. He was so hyped, he didn't really need a crowd, to be honest with you. He just, came out there. Also, King Corbin came out there to interrupt and talk trash, saying that he's does the same thing what Rob Gronkowski was doing years ago. Like how he sucks. And then he threatened him and stuff. Elias interrupted and saying how Corbin sucks. One pushed Corbin. Then Elias threw out the King of the Ring out up to the ring. One said he can't wait to make officiate, make matches, and he made a match that he's gonna let WWE officials decide if that's gonna happen. He made the match where Elias versus King Corbin 1-on-1 at WrestleMania. So he's wanting to get that book, but he lobbied for it. So we'll see if that happens. It's likely it's gonna happen. So then we mention it. Also, Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak teamed up once again to go against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, former Intercontinental Champion by pinfall, which led Sami Zayn furious. Match was back and forth as Bryan and Gulak are more submission specialists. Gulak had the submission tack down, as Bryan did. Even Cesaro countered Gulak's maneuver and turned into a surfboard, I think. But they lost. But Zayn was furious. Zayn maintained that Daniel Bryan was making a mistake listening to Drew Gulak's keys to victory. Instead, using Zayn's own wise words. Then Bryan challenged him to a match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, Zayn saying that he'll get his match, but Drew Gulak need to go one-on-one against Shinsuke Nakamura to have that happen. If Drew Gulak can pin Shinsuke Nakamura next week, then Daniel Bryan will be having the opportunity to challenge Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. So at WrestleMania. So we'll see how that all comes out. Also, Paige returned. Paige was supposed to return last week. We thought she was going to wrestle, but that's wasn't the case. Paige came out there. Paige didn't come out there, but Paige came via Skype on the Tron and informed Sasha Banks and Bayley that Bayley would be defending her women's championship. I think Paige was sent by Fox executives to make that decision. I didn't know Paige was back being SmackDown GM once again. Well, Paige informed Bayley and Sasha Banks that Bayley will be defending her women's championship in a six-pack challenge. Not only Paige made the match that Bayley will defend Against Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Naomi, and finally Bayley's best friend Sasha Banks. So it kind of caused a lot of tensions to arise between these women. Even at the end, Sasha Banks called Paige the B word, and I guess Paige stuck it to Sasha Banks, saying, "You know what? You want to call me a B? I got something for you, but you're going to have to defend your title. You're going to have to be fighting your best friend if you want the belt." And Sasha Banks looked like she was kind of resistant that she finally get a shot at the women's championship. Also, SmackDown did just like they did last week when they played title of the Elimination Chamber, and as they was continuing, as Raw continued that surge trend with the Royal Rumble match, SmackDown did the same. Well, SmackDown went throwback all the way back to WrestleMania 30, where we'll talk about later on what's going on with that on Hot Topics, where John Cena went one-on-one against Bray Wyatt for the first time, for the first match. 6 years ago, WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, where Bray Wyatt claims John Cena. That's when the whole Fiend and stuff manifested, when Bray Wyatt lost to John Cena that night. Good relive moment. If you want to see it, relive on WWE Network, or probably yet we'll tell you later what you can relive it on this weekend. So, good bout. Bray Wyatt wants to get his redemption over John Cena on what he did to him 6 years ago at WrestleMania. Damn, man, 6 years? Wow. All right. Also, on the dirt sheet, John Morrison and The Miz made fun of the New Day, the Usos, and Heavy Machinery, which that was a funny bit. That was a funny segment. They made fun of New Day, talking about who tag teams can defeat them. So we'll see on that effort and stuff. But that led to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions also in action against Heavy Machinery. Well, it was back and forth, but during the match, Dolph Ziggler came out there and color commentary to join Mike Cole. Didn't become a color analyst we thought. He was just there to get in the head of Otis, and he did so. He kept showing that him and Mandy Rose went on dates, and Otis got furious, got mad. Otis caused the team lose due to disqualification. Otis attacked the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Otis was livid. He just didn't know what to think. Otis just being Otis. Otis got to work on his anger issues. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. Also, and finally, the contract signed, the highly anticipated Spear versus Spear Universal Championship match between Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. These two men about the same height, 6'3", both of them. It's the older generation and the newer generation, where Reigns said last week that Goldberg is a part-timer and that Goldberg is a transitional champion, in which he is. You can tell. Goldberg ain't going to be in doing this rodeo forever. So Roman Reigns and Goldberg had an intense stare down. Both men, as my Cole asked Roman Reigns about him being the challenger that he fought legends such as The Undertaker, John Cena, and etc. And he defeated them. And Goldberg said he won't be any different. Then he called Goldberg. Then he called him a little bitch dog that is holding title that he never earned. Goldberg said Reigns was going to be his next victim. They stared down. That was the end of the show. So WrestleMania getting real quick. It's like, when you look at Reigns versus Goldberg, you can think of Hogan versus Warrior, where both men are both baby faces and both men are like the changing of the guard. And we'll see that WrestleMania with these two men meet for the Universal Championship, and we'll see as it go. I'm sticking to Roman Reigns winning the belt, and Goldberg just going on by the pasture. It's just me. All right. That is the Smackdown Report. When we return, we're going to have hot topics. As you won't believe, WWE is making deals left and right, and it's all regarding WrestleMania season and more. And then AEW, with the AEW Report, you won't believe two WWE superstars left the promotion. We talked about during the year, and now they're in AEW. You won't believe their fantastic debuts in NXT Report, where we'll talk about where a rivalry renewed once again. Finally, I hope this ends this time. All right, we'll be right back with more Pro Wrestling Show. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Back to the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Ken Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Don't forget to join in the conversation using the hashtag #TakeProWrestling here on Ken. Why I say take? Well, that's for another show. But we're here at home. We're not in the studio. Thank you all for watching here and being entertained, because that's what we want to do during this turbulent time. And we want to put a smile on your face, because that's what matters. Pro wrestling matters. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. We do this to say wrestling matters, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Well, thank you all once again. All right, let's get to hot topics. On hot topics this week. All right. Now, many of you may have heard that Broken Matt Hardy has joined All Elite Wrestling, and he wasted no time. I mean, no time whatsoever to go on the podcast. He went straight to Chris Jericho's Talk is Jericho podcast, and Matt Hardy explained why he left WWE with this.
When you were there and first heard about AEW, what were your thoughts about it?
I actually, when we were in Ontario, California, about 6 or 7 months before my deal was up, I met Matt and Nick and had dinner with them just to chat with them. I mean, we've been friends ever since, I met them when I first had my run in TNA, and then we worked closely, and we had worked together to come up with an angle where we were actually going to have TNA and Ring of Honor working hand in hand in
Really?
conjunction. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And we were going to do this whole angle with the Hardys and the Young Bucks,
Right.
from the Broken Matt stuff. And we'd started that like when I showed up at Final Battle for Ring of Honor with them. And then we showed up when our contracts ran out and still came to Ring of Honor and like beat them for the tag
Is that
titles.
in Lakeland or something, or
That is when we dropped the titles to them before we debuted in WrestleMania
the day before, right, or something? Yeah.
But we had a deal set up, and we were going to do like a 3 or 4 month program that was going to span across Ring of Honor television and TNA. It was
great.
Huge. The reason it didn't happen was because of Jeff Jarrett. He had just came in. Anthem had just bought TNA. Jeff Jarrett was in a bad place in his life, with his issues that he had going on, and he was the one who caused the issues that shut it down. And then I talked to Triple H, like when our deal was up, we ended up returning to WWE because we had a good offer, and we're like, okay, well, we'll go here and we'll finish up or whatever. And that deal ended up being suspended. But ever since that time when I worked more than Jeff, it was me working with like Matt and Nick to like, kind of like create and carve this angle out that we're going to do for multiple months over these 2 different companies. And then like once that didn't happen, we still stayed in touch. We're still great friends and whatnot. But I just had dinner with them and we were just talking about different things, and AEW came out, I said, well, I'm just going to kind of see what happens these next few months for me and see what I think is my best bet going forward, because it is important to me to finish up strong as I end my career. And then just like I pitched idea after idea after idea after idea to WWE, and just like on my own, I never got any feedback. I would hear a little chatter here, a little chatter there, but there was never anything that like stuck or like, that anything that ever like sparked any kind of like creative fire in Vince's mind. So then I just like became frustrating. And then like, they were just trying to re-sign me now at this point, just to have me under contract. So I was a WWE property, and like I kept turning down money, which was good money, but like I wanted to be in a prominent role in television. And I don't think Vince saw that for me. And then like even right towards the end, when I did that stuff with Randy, apparently the first time we did the deal with Randy, the promo, and then
that was supposed to be your write-off.
That was supposed to be a write-off,
but you killed it.
But and it did some great rating.
But you also did a great promo that night.
Well, thank you.
You did.
But yeah. And I did that. And then like they brought it back the next week, and then we ended up doing 2. And that week in the production meeting, we were going to have a 2-segment match that was going to end Raw.
Right.
A 2-segment match after I'd had a concerto, and I was going to come out selling a neck brace. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. I'd already pretty much made up my mind. I was gone at this point. Even though they actively tried to sign me, I couldn't like have any kind of creative assurances. And that's what I wanted at this point. And I wanted like a dialogue with Vince, like, hey, I need to know that you have my back and you're going to like protect my creative interest. This isn't just like, hey, I want this older guy because like he has some star power to his name or whatever. So that day in the production meeting, Vince's like, I don't think we should have this match because I think Matt's leaving. I don't think he's going to stay. I don't think he's signing. I think he's leaving. And I remember Paul Heyman grabbed me and said, tell me the truth. Are you leaving? I said, I don't know. I said, if there's nothing for me to do here, I said, I can go elsewhere and be utilized in a better way. And that's what's important to me here towards the end of my career. What a weird day. And it was like, I was very honest and open with everyone. And I told everyone from Vince all the way down what I wanted and like kind of what I expected if I was going to stay around. And, once we were on the same page, and I said, okay, well, thank you guys very much. I'll go on.
Right there, Broken Matt Hardy explained why he left WWE. It was all about creative. It wasn't about cash. It was just creative. At the end of the day, he wanted the 2 seeds, cash or creative. But Matt Hardy claims it was creative. He was going to make a lot of cash. He knew they were going to live up to the end of the bargain with him being creative. And he's a creative person because he wanted things to be how, when you look at it, the Broken Matt gimmick from Impact, it took off and it went off. And then when he went back to WWE, he thought he was going to get the same treatment. Just didn't pick no steam up. And now he's in AEW. We'll talk about that later on, what he did and debuted in AEW to get himself to that point. So, okay. Also, speaking of that, WrestleMania, there's been news going on. We talked about last week that WrestleMania, many people thought WrestleMania was on the brink of being canceled, but that's not the case. WrestleMania now makes history even more, where it's going to be a 2-night event. And man, it's going to be a 2-night event. And It's going to be live at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. We talked about that. We talked about Warrant will host the show. We talked about it on the Smackdown Report. Well, this is big. Now, we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this 2-night report. We'll probably just do a one pro wrestling show where, hey, we just do that all that whole one, predict the outcome, and just head out like that for that Saturday. I guess, yeah, that's Saturday. All right. Speaking of that, ESPN. Well, there was rumors to report ESPN was negotiating with WWE to get the streaming rights for his big pay-per-views, including WrestleMania. Well, ESPN has landed a deal to air Classic WrestleMania from the full event. Well, starting this weekend at 7/6 Central, ESPN will air WrestleMania 30 from 6 years ago. Wow, from New Orleans. That's big. ESPN has not shown wrestling content since the 1990s, since the UWF days, and the AWA used to be on ESPN and gave instant credibility. Now ESPN, with that partnership with WWE throughout those years, now they're going to air a WWE program on the network, which ESPN is the top rated sports network. And what a big snatch for ESPN to show WWE. And then following weeks, they will have WrestleMania 32 on March 29th, and on April 5th, WrestleMania 35. So, wow, that's huge. Three WrestleMania events throughout the 30th season, like 30, 32, and 35 from last year. That's big. That's huge. And, that's just tell you something. So our question today is, should ESPN buy WWE streaming rights, like the major pay-per-views? So you let us know on that, and you give us your opinion on that, comment, and tell us what you think on that. Also, CM Punk, rumors about him doing WrestleMania 36, they're not true. I don't know what that came from. Just, I'm saying, CM Punk. I don't think CM Punk will come back. He did make news this week where he said that he would love to wrestle John Cena and be open to wrestle him, open to wrestle Rey Mysterio, open to wrestle Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay returned and said, "Hey, what about me and you and I at Wrestle Kingdom?" So CM Punk never gave a response back. Stuff. Also, Randy Orton, he's furious with WWE because he wasn't in the pictures for the promo pictures. So I guess WWE got a lot of explaining to do to get Randy Orton's attention on that. Randy Orton don't like that. Also, WWE stars staying at home, such as Leo Rush. So I guess a lot of the stars feel like the coronavirus is getting into effect. So we'll see how that goes. Also, who else? We know the rumors that WWE's being sued, and they're being sued by patent trolls by the network and stuff. So a lot of people, people trying to sue WWE during this time, and WWE losing money for WrestleMania. And it's sort of like, man, I'm losing money left and right, man. Stuff like that, but hey, WrestleMania, I think WrestleMania will probably exceed its buy rate because no one's in the audience, and there's gonna be limited personnel. So I think it's going to, work in his favor. So we'll see on that. We'll see. Also, this, I don't know. We've been seeing stuff like on the Vice YouTube channel, the Chris Benoit Part 1 story of this documentary that's supposed to be airing on Dark Side of the Ring is out and is available. So, I just saw it, and it's a fantastic piece to kickstart what's going on Dark Side of the Ring. A new season 2 kicks out with Chris Benoit from Part 1 and 2 this Tuesday. 2 hours worth of Dark Side of the Ring, and you're going to get the Owen Hart story, the Road Warriors, Brawl for All, and many more. So it's going to be really intriguing piece. So like I said, I'm thinking it's at 100K right now. and counting. So look out for that at the moment and stuff like that. Also, NXT champion Adam Cole is the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. So Adam Cole, baby, the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. So congratulations, order Adam Cole. Speaking of somebody that congratulating order, Japanese legend Jushin Thunder Liger has took his rightful spot into the WWE Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is canceled in the events that sort of WrestleMania, like Access and NXT TakeOver, are canceled. But I think they'll make it up down the road, probably around SummerSlam stuff. So you know how that go. Congratulations or two for the man they call Sting. He's celebrating his birthday this weekend. So Sting is back. Also, Fight TV offers a free trial AEW Plus. So if you with the Fight TV app, you know, hey, Fight TV is where it's at. Do we have to be on Fight TV too? Just to expand our rise and our reach? But we do so well on YouTube, so we don't want to, you know, disregard our lower viewers and stuff. Also, Tola Bellas is returning. They got pushed up the date. It was supposed to come during the mid-April, but now they get pushed up to April 2nd. So Tola Bellas come back with a 2-part episode. Look out for that. Also, WWE has not announced and not reached a deal with is selling its pay-per-view rights. I think guess because of the corona and stuff. So I don't know. There's just so much going on and stuff. So you know how they go. All right. That ends the hot topics. Let's move over to the AEW Ring Report. AEW Ring Report was this. AEW was just like Raw and SmackDown. No fans. Well, Cody came out there and started the show with a passionate promo. Cody Rhodes, one of the all-time greats. He is being up there carrying a promo. He knows what to say. He has great cadence on how to speak. And Cody Rhodes, my hats off to you. Cody talked about what the issues in the Elite were Nick and Matt and Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, how they all can get along and how they put their differences aside for one common good. They asked Hangman Page. Hangman Page had a cup and he just toasted to him. But Hangman, they all on the same page. They started off all Dynamite with pyro and stuff. Like I said, to be honest with you, I mean, AEW had a better format system than what happened in NXT this week. I mean, like AEW went like a fine-tooth comb. I'll say that. You couldn't find no mistakes because everything flowed. Everything went together. But Brandy Rose said she would never ring announce. She did for a night, I guess. But she ring announced Best Friends versus the Dark Triangle, the new team where the Best Friends, what they do, with Orange Cassidy and Trent and somebody else, I forgot his name, the Kentucky gentleman, so you know what I'm talking about. They went against Pentagon and I forgot his name, and Pentagon and somebody else, I forgot. That's fucked up. Pentagon and I forgot his name, but hey, you know, man. But Orange Cassidy is sitting there commentary, not doing it. I think it was the answer to Asuka. Asuka did a phenomenal job on Raw when she called the U.S. Andrade and Rey Mysterio. She was commentating and no one didn't understand what the words she was saying. So it was great. But Best Friends lost. Chucky T. Yeah. It was great. It just provided more storyline. Pac wasn't there, but they didn't need Pac presence. So we'll see how this all festers. Also, a fatal 4-way between Penelope Ford, Chris Stanlanger, here Riho, and some Shishida. Shishida won, but at the end, everybody was looking at Penelope Ford at Leather Prowlers, but then Colt Cabana was being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone interviewed Colt. Colt was saying that Penelope Ford was good, but her boyfriend needed to be stopped being distracting. That started an argument between Kip Sabian and Colt Cabana. Look for that being a feud down the road. These two wrestle each other. They might wrestle each other next week. So you never know. But speaking of that, was a tag team match where I think who was in tag team match? Oh yeah. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus went against the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny at ringside. MJF was there at ringside. Good match from both teams. Luchasaurus sold $1 million. Jungle Boy improving. Kudos to the Butcher and the Blade. But Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus win the match without Marco Stunt ringside. Then they jump on that hate Marco Stunt, which I don't get. But hey, it is what it is. Also, Tony Schiavone interviewed MJF and Sean Spears, and he interviewed Jake Roberts and his new client, Lance Archer. They did a good video package. Lance Archer, being a badass, went out there and attacked everybody in fight, some sort of like a country style fight club. And he was the last man standing. I think Jake the Snake Roberts issued a challenge to Cody that he wants Cody to go against Lance Archer, which is kind of like a good telling. So we'll see how that all comes out about and stuff like that. Yeah. Trying to see, and finally was that the huge 6-man tag team match where the Inner Circle team of Santana Ortiz and Jake Hager went against Cody, the Elites, Cody, Heyman Page, and Matt Jackson. It was, and Chris Jericho was at ringside during commentary. And Chris Jericho said a comment by Aaron Anderson saying it was a Waffle House menu. It was crazy. But it was funny at the same time. But at the end, the Inner Circle won, getting their team advantage in Blood and Guts. So it's the advantage leading the order for their type style War Games cage match against the Elite. Well, like I said, it was 2 debuts. Matt Hardy came out of nowhere. The Vanguard one flew over the ring where Matt Jackson had an announcement to make after the Inner Circle kept rambling for incoherent for nothing. And then the drone came down. The drone said this. Then Matt Hardy, Nick Jackson said he knew his friend owed him a favor. If you've been watching Matt Hardy's videos, Matt Hardy was the one that revealed himself. And Matt Hardy back with his broken brilliance, broken deletion. And they already got shirts out for Matt Hardy. Man, Matt Hardy just selling shirts like hotcakes. He's already in AEW and making a big star. Man, I think they're going to do right Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy going to be having creative freedom. And that's what he wanted. He got the money. And he wanted the creative freedom. He gets that creative freedom the way he's been so richly deserved. So, kudos to Matt. Also, we cannot reminisce that Brody Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper in WWE, made his debut as the Exalted One in AEW. Thought Matt Hardy was going to be the Exalted One. That wasn't the case. It made sense to give Brody Lee his own new gimmick. Brody Lee came out of the wins and attacked SCU. Daniels and Kazarian left them out laying. There you go. And he became the one leading Uno and his troops to be the one. So now Brody Lee and Matt Hardy, 2 ex-WWE stars, now in AEW. Let's see what they will do next. So that ends the AEW Ring Report. Let's move over to the NXT Ring Report. The NXT Ring Report, well, NXT didn't do so well in the ratings, and they lost once again to AEW. Wow. But they did the best of well, they didn't do the best of, but they did sort of like a story following where they had Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa give their perspectives about each other on how they feuding now again, when Gargano is the bad guy and Ciampa is the good guy. And they started as they worked together. They knew each other. They knew each other in the performance center and the chemistry and stuff like that. And then they broke up where Gargano turned, Ciampa turned on Gargano in Chicago during that wicked tag team match. He had got injured. They had that feud. Gargano got his championship back. He was trying to get the title back. Didn't get the championship back. Lost. And Gargano turned on him now. So it's a feud, almost a feud. And I think this time, there's been rumors and reports that this time it's going to be a last man standing where these two men can't stand each other and one of them had to go. And I think a lot of people saying Ciampa don't want to leave. It's probably Gargano who go on the main roster. Hopefully Gargano knows that the treatment they've been getting in the main roster, and they hope they do right by him. They do right by him. We'll see. We'll see. It was a good 1 hour story on that. Also, Finn Balor made his appearance on there, talk about his story on resurrecting himself from the main roster, from NXT to the main roster, from both Raw and SmackDown to back to NXT, and how he was looking forward to meeting Walter for the UK title, and how he's not going to stop. It was a good story, backstory on that, and it was a good backstory on Rhea Ripley coming from the Performance Center to the Mae Young Classic to NXT UK to now being in NXT, challenging Shayna Baszler, winning the title, and now fast forward now that she will defend her title against Charlotte at WrestleMania. So 4 good backstories, 1 rivalry between Gargano and Ciampa perspective. That's a good backstory. Finn Balor, his perspective, and Rhea Ripley. It was a good backstory, but you know how they go. NXT killing some time too. All right. Thank you all once again for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Where we talked about everything pro wrestling, what's affecting the pro wrestling right now with the CV-19 disease. We here want to tell you, stay safe, stay sound, listen to your government, listen to federal, state, and local governments during this crucial, turbulent time, and we will all get through this. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix, saying so long, and we'll see you again on another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.